What up, Bulls Nation? Peck here. We got a live CHGO Bulls postgame coming up for y'all right around the corner. Bulls fall to the Pelicans for the second time this season. 119-113 is the final. Zach LaVine's 30-point streak comes to an end. Sloppy fourth quarter. Yuck. We're breaking it down next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls Postgame. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That is my guy, Big Dave. Bam! BAWL Sports. Four-time champ, Uncle Will. Will_Perdue 32. Queen of the controls, the one and only Katie Duffy. What up, Katie?
Hi.
No Bulls win audio drop tonight, Katie. They did not win.
Thank goodness. No goon either.
No victoire to Bulls. Shout out to our guy Clem. I can't remember what the version.
He did have a
when
losing
they lose
version
is.
for it. I don't remember what it was, but he had a losing version.
I cannot remember the French verb for to lose.
Yes, he had it because Will Perdue made him say it like 16 times.
But in English or French or any language, that's what we all just watch the Bulls do.
I mean, we do have a different audio drop that we could use when they lose.
Which is?
Wow.
Yeah. That was a bit of a clown show. That second half in particular, Bulls came into the second half up 6, then went into the fourth quarter tied, and then lost the fourth quarter by 6 for that 119-113 final. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. If you're hanging out with us on YouTube, hit that like button. Throw us a super chat if you're feeling generous tonight. We'll get to as many of y'all's thoughts as we can throughout pregame. Guys, I mean, what do you think the headline of this game is? Because I was kind of looking through and I was like, okay, Zach started slow, but we've seen plenty of nights where Zach starts slow, lets the game come to him. And I think that we've been praising Zach for that at times this season. Then third quarter, Zach turns it on, but that fourth quarter was just sloppy. They send the Pelicans to the line. The Pelicans knocked down some key shots. And the Bulls' offense just kind of the wheels fell off there a bit in the fourth, Will. All right, listen. Listening?
Get my drink ready. Come on, hit me. Hit me, Will. Let's do it.
So I've had the last 2 games.
2 of them things.
I've walked out of the United Center asking myself,
why do I work with these people?
I ask myself that every night I leave. My wife asked me how was work. So she's like, why do I work with these guys?
Fair.
So Sunday's game and tonight's game, I was at the United Center. It's not a flex, so don't say that. And I leave at the end of the third to get here to watch the fourth, or about the last 8 minutes with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
My son's in town.
Flex.
But second night in a row where I walked out of the building going, what was the game plan? Because as entertaining as the Sacramento game was, and tonight's game had some good points. You know, I was like, all right. I remember leaving going, Peck's going to love this. The fourth quarter's going to go back and forth. It's going to be a tight one. You know, unfortunately, it is, you know,
on his mind.
I can't get him out of my head now.
Yeah, man.
But that's the thing. You ask about this team, and I'm asking myself, so I know there's some people that are, you know, going at Billy, but I'm like, I honestly would have to say that if I was a player, I would be confused.
Yeah.
If I'm on this team, knowing what was said at the beginning of the season, and this is just strictly from a former player's perspective of, okay, if I'm on this team, what is our goal? I know, we talked about integrity.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're really trying to win, I think they would have won the Sacramento game and they would have won tonight.
Correct.
And I think that honestly, because what we've seen in the fourth quarter against Sac and what we saw in the fourth quarter tonight is a totally different team than what we saw in the first three.
I don't know. I might disagree with you. I think the Bulls are trying to win every game. If they weren't, they wouldn't be 18-22. They are absolutely trying to win. Look, the Sacramento game, it was back and forth. It was a dramatic fourth quarter. Zach and DeMar going back and forth. It was exciting. It was entertaining. Bulls came out on the losing end of it. Sacramento, obviously a team that had their struggles earlier this year, but came into Chicago on a roll. Had won 6 straight.
They did.
And then beat the Bulls. Take that L. This one tonight, Dave and I talked in pregame about how, hey, the Pelicans record is what the Pelicans record is. They've had a lot of key guys out throughout the season due to injury, but they just got Zion back. I mean, even without Brandon Ingram, and yeah, they were missing Herb Jones too, Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum,
Hey,
DeJounte Murray.
Murphy's playing well.
Like, you say those 3 names, you're like, yo, that's no easy cakewalk of a win to go up against. No. And Trey Murphy and his 32 points is what
yeah, but
ends
how many now?
He took a zillion shots to get there.
Yeah, I know that, but he's a volume guy. But was that like his 3rd or 4th game of 30 in a row? I know he had 30 in the last game.
I don't know.
Good question, Aguado.
Or maybe 3 out of 4.
Let's see. 32, 30, 22, 17, 34, going back his last 5.
Say that again. I apologize.
So 32 tonight, 30 in their previous game, 22 the game before that, 17, 34.
Okay.
Been scoring.
So 30 plus in the 3 out of the last 5.
Yeah, he's been pouring it in recently.
So, but that's my thing. Also, okay, maybe maybe what you're disagreeing with what I'm saying, but how about if I rephrase this then? Something happened to their defense in the fourth. Because, Hunter, so my son's with me. He's sitting over here. You guys can't see him. We're going to put you to work because Katie's trying to do 10 different things at once.
Let's go, Hunter.
Can you look up what Sacramento and New Orleans shot in the fourth quarter against the Bulls? Can you find that?
I know for sure the Pelicans shot better in the fourth than they had earlier
a lot better
in the evening.
Because when we left after 3 quarters, they were shooting 28% from behind the arc.
They finished 32.6%, 14 to 43.
They were 10.
I'm sorry. No, that's the Bulls. They finished 14 of 50, 28%.
Jeez.
So they were 10 of some. So what is?
Are we talking fourth quarter only?
Fourth quarter only.
For the team as a whole?
What's that?
For the Pelicans team as a whole?
Yeah, what did the Pelicans shoot? Because obviously we know that the Pelicans scored 33.
They went 12 of 22, the Pelicans did in the fourth quarter.
Jesus.
So they shot above 50% in the fourth.
Okay, what about Sacramento?
Sacramento on Sunday.
But you're saying, Matt, you're looking at the numbers. Mm-hmm. On a whole, New Orleans shot what?
43.8% from the field.
Well, that tells you how bad they were shooting going into the fourth quarter to where they shoot 50 plus and still finish in that 43.
Yep. And I mean, you would think, hey, your opponent doesn't even shoot 44% and they shoot 28% on 50 3-point attempts. How do you lose that game? But the Pelicans doubled up the Bulls at the free throw line. The Bulls got annihilated in second chance points and points off turnovers. The turnover battle wasn't that uneven. It was 15 turnovers for the Bulls, 10 for the Pels. The Pelicans scored 28 points off of 15 Bulls turnovers compared to just 11 points off turnovers.
And that's been an issue now. Not that many points, but if you go back and start looking at the numbers, like the other night against Sacramento, I think both teams had the same amount of turnovers, but the Kings doubled up number of points off turnovers over the Bulls. Yes, Katie?
Sacramento in the fourth quarter the other night was 9 of 19.
Okay.
So basically just a touch below 50%. But something happened to the Bulls. Listen, we know the Bulls' defense is questionable at best. But it's gotten really bad as of late in the fourth quarter.
They're not good. I think that's it for me, Will. Like, they're trying to win, but they're not good.
Well, listen,
that's what I see.
But I think there's I'm trying to get ahead of myself here, and I apologize.
It's all right.
But this is what this team has struggled with the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as you talked about, they're not the aggressor.
Correct.
So the Pelicans score 12 more points from the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
That's been an Achilles heel. Okay. Now, I got to give the Bulls credit. They're rebounding much better this year. They're out-rebounded the Pels by 11. Okay. The Bulls had 31 assists. But as you talk about, they had 15 turnovers, which on a whole is not that bad.
No.
But to allow your opponent to score 28 points, another Achilles heel. Opponents are really capitalizing on the Bulls' turnovers. All right? And the Bulls had more points in the paint, which is uncharacteristic.
Very.
But it's just has, even though on a whole the offense is better because of the way they're playing,
Mm-hmm.
have their weaknesses improved on a whole?
No, their weaknesses have still been kind of the same.
It's the fact that because like in this game, they got up 102 field goals where previous years they were in the mid-80s, that's kind of hidden some of their weaknesses or some of the areas where they really need
Mm-hmm.
to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight was a perfect example of, you shot 33%, 14 of 43. They really, over the last 3 years, have not addressed the deficiency from the three-point line. And for some reason,
You talking about like from a roster construction perspective?
correct.
Because they've definitely addressed the volume this season.
No. The volume, yes. But
Yeah.
the percentage, no.
Well, I mean, coming into tonight, they were top 5 of the NBA in three-point percentage this season.
But
they have their bad nights where the shots aren't falling, and because the volume is high, it is, I think, more glaring on nights when their shots aren't falling.
right. But the problem is, as we've talked about, on good teams, when you have those nights when your shots aren't falling, you have to find ways to keep yourself in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That means you got to lean on your defense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or get to the line, which
How many-
they failed to do.
How many fouls
Or
did
the
Vooch have tonight?
Vooch had 3 fouls.
Okay, so there were 2 plays specifically, okay, late in the game when Zion got the ball in the block and Vooch just
Yeah.
gave up.
Yeah.
I thought he was actually trying to pull the chair on him,
He said, right this way, sir.
but he wasn't.
He was showing him to his seat.
right. He gave him too much leeway,
Mm-hmm.
and he got right to the paint and finished 3-point play.
He did.
Okay, told Dave, I said, you got to make him
That's me.
work harder for that,
Mm-hmm.
and he should have fouled him there. All right, nice hard foul. And there was a play, I think, in the second quarter on the other end of the floor where somebody got an offensive rebound and Vooch just stepped back and basically gave up the layup.
Mm.
So, I mean, either you got to wrap that guy up, you got to foul him hard, send him to the free throw line, make him earn it. I understand, you struggled tonight because of what I thought were a lot of dumb fouls, but sometimes there are certain fouls that are good fouls.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, this team at this moment, in my opinion, mentally, is limping towards the All-Star break.
Mm.
The problem is there's still a lot of games between
Yes.
now and February 13th.
Yeah. It's not a good time to get a
Tonight
limp.
was game number 40.
Mm-hmm.
Not
a good time to get a limp.
And yes, still plenty of games between now and that All-Star break. Tonight was night 1 of a set of 3 games in 4 nights. And yes, homestand and a pretty cushy schedule as far as strength of opponents is concerned.
Yeah.
But on this homestand with a cushy opponent schedule, we were just talking about this before post-will, the Bulls have now beaten the Wizards, but lost to Sacramento
Mm-hmm.
and now New Orleans. You got Atlanta, Charlotte left. If you are the Bulls and you are trying to win, go to that precious play-in tournament, you have to be saying to yourselves, we have to beat these next 2 opponents and be at least 3-2 on the cushiest of cushy homestands
Pretty cushy.
before we go out west. And yeah, that West Coast trip starts with the Blazers, who are trash factory, but then you got to
They're
play the
good
Clips.
trash. Yeah.
You got to play the Warriors, and yeah,
Mhm.
the Warriors are kind of going through some growing pains or some aging pains right now, whatever you want to call it, but they're still the Warriors at home.
Yeah.
Like,
No, the Blazers are good trash. Like, I wouldn't even – I mean, they're losing. They're a losing team. That's the way I'll say it. They're a losing team.
And they're making sure they're losing.
Yes, correct. Correct. They're doing it right.
So now we flip-flop. Lonzo does not play tomorrow, but we get Io back.
Correct.
So
Knock on wood.
that's a lateral move.
Yeah.
Lateral move. We got to take our first break right there. We will come back, continue breaking down tonight's game, get into some of y'all's comments, hanging out with us on YouTube. What do you want to talk about? I see people talking about Pat in the comments.
Oh, guys.
Because, of course, always.
Come on, guys.
We'll get to that and whatever else is on y'all's mind on the other side of this break. Hit that like button while we're sharing these words from our friends and sponsors.
He had one.
Postgame tonight brought to you by our friends at VeriLife. Maybe you are looking for the perfect way to elevate your Chicago winter. Stay warm, keep your spirits high. At VeriLife Dispensary, they've got everything you need, from premium cannabis products to expert advice. Whether you're new to cannabis or a connoisseur, their knowledgeable bud tenders are here to help. With 8 convenient locations across Illinois, discovering your perfect experience has never been easier. VeriLife proudly offers a price match guarantee. We know you have your options in this business, ensuring you get the best value by matching local competitors' prices on eligible products. Don't miss out on their latest deals and exclusive offers only at VeriLife Cannabis stores and only online at verilife.com. If you place your order online, you can use promo code CHGO25 when you go to redeem and pick up in store. Again, that VeriLife website is VeriLife.com. Again, promo code CHGO25 to get 25% off one regular priced item. Restrictions apply. VeriLife, elevate your winter.
VeriLife. New sponsor alert.
Ooh.
New sponsor alert.
Uh-oh.
It's going down, baby. Welcome to the family. Right on Optics. Right on. Yeah. No matter what outdoor activities you prefer, it's always important to have the best view. Right On Optics offers a full range of optics products so you can see clearly that the rain is gone. Everyone can use a good pair of binoculars. Even this tall, handsome fellow over here named Will Perdue can use a good pair of binoculars. Yeah. Better views at your kids' sporting events, when you're spotting birds and other wildlife. When I'm looking into Will Perdue's home, anything you can use it for, you're going to need some awesome binoculars.
That's you, huh?
Yeah.
I was wondering who that was on the path looking through the trees.
Thanks for the food you left out. I appreciate that. Right On offers higher performance at a lower price. The perfect balance of performance and value. And they won't, I repeat, they will not break the bank. Right On Optics has been around for over a decade. Every product receives a full quality control inspection and the Right On Promise unlimited lifetime warranty. It not only covers the defects, but also accidental damages from drops. I'm looking at Matt Peck. Whoopsie. So check out the full line of Right On products today at rightonoptics.com/CHGO. That's RITON optics.com/CHGO. Right On Optics. I see you.
Do they have night vision goggles?
Good.
Yes.
All of them will. Go check that site. Save you some money, man.
You know what? I think when we get to the West Coast games, we should start getting weird. Like, let's turn off the lights.
Getting weird? What do you mean?
No. Okay. Get weirder.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, now that
makes more sense.
I think
that's scary with these two guys.
Well, no, don't worry. I have specific ideas. I think we should shut off the lights and do a show with like
always get weirder.
The problem is we get later. That means that Matt Peck's had a few more beverages.
Oh, you know it. Got some of those West Coast tip-off times coming. Gonna need a couple more beers to get me through that late night.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to Uber to work next week.
Let's do what now?
Let's do a show with night vision goggles when they're on the West Coast.
Oh, I love that.
Like just
idea.
weird
Love
stuff.
this.
Let's be as weird as possible.
Okay.
Maybe a pajamas show.
Oh my God, Matt! Yes.
Starting post games at midnight Central Time. Love it.
I love it.
I'm sorry I won't be here. All right, so hey, let me ask you this.
What's up?
Well done.
Do you mind if I ask a few questions?
Oh,
do we have another?
No, we're done with that ad break.
Okay,
so
we
coming up later.
But come on with the questions. You got time.
So let me ask you guys this question because I want to hear what you guys have to say compared to what I think.
Anything 4-time champion Will Perdue?
So let's say this team is completely healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can honestly say we know what Zoe is now.
Yeah.
Okay, not what he was, Not what we hope he was, but what he is. Okay, I think this is, he's kind of settled in. 25 minutes, 4 of 10, 3 of 8, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. This is kind of what he is. So he's probably now 10 to 12 points, 4 to 7 assists, and 4 to 6 rebounds every night.
And I mean, you just said maybe not what he was, but what he is now. I think you can argue that he is who he was before the first injury from the 21-22 season.
Well, he's definitely improved his three-point shot a lot.
Well, and he started cold behind the arc this season, but that's come around. He was 3 of 8 downtown tonight after hitting 5 threes the other night. Like,
I think
Lonzo is Lonzo.
But I think let me change.
Is his defense like that's definitely not the same.
Right, but let me change. He is what he is, but we know this is like 25 minutes is the max he's going to play. So that's why I'm saying he's basically let's just say he's a 10, 5, and 5 guy. Mm-hmm. Because of the minutes restriction, and his defense is just not as good. And it's just, unfortunately, that's one of those things that because of the time off and the particular injury, that's probably never going to be the same. Mm-hmm. Effort's there, okay, but everybody's healthy. Lonzo is actually playing because I think we all took the approach that even if he comes back, he's not going to be anywhere close to what he was. He's actually a lot closer than we thought. But everybody's healthy. What's the maximum number of games that this team even wins?
38.
At their peak, healthiest, mid-30s, I would say.
What was the over-under at Vegas?
Mid to high.
28 and a half, 29.
So basically they're right at the number that they had last year, 38 wins or 39?
Yeah, they were 39 and 43 last year.
So basically they're below 500, and they're a play-in team.
Yeah.
Best case scenario.
Mm-hmm. And winning more games. They are on a pace of winning more games than most expected this season.
Right. But my point is that why are we doing this?
Will.
Welcome to the chat.
Come on in,
I mean,
man.
I know that was somewhat a rhetorical question, but yeah.
It's what we've been talking about. Yeah, what are you doing? What's going on?
I mean, did you see that thing? I think it was from Casey Johnson's latest fast break whatever video thing from the other day. Mm-hmm. Basically saying from what he's hearing from his sources, there's still, despite that streak of 6 straight games with 30 plus, playing the best basketball of his career. Mm-hmm. The Zach LaVine trade market, crickets.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
So Zach's here for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Can't find a trade partner for Vooch.
Mm-hmm.
They still roll. I mean, Zach 25 tonight, Vooch 22 tonight. They didn't get the win, but they're the ones leading you to wins most of the time.
Correct.
Okay, so
what are we doing?
Here's my next question then. Trade deadline is how far away?
February 6th. So
a couple weeks,
3 weeks.
Okay. 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a gambling man, which I don't know about, are you a gambling man, Dave?
No.
I know Matt is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
But
I do win, though, when I go to Vegas.
For the sake of discussion, if you were a gambling man, you would basically put all your money on, yes, they make something happen before the trade deadline, or no, they go for the 4th straight year with no moves.
I would shove heavy on no right now.
I would say they do something because I'm thinking a very minor move.
Okay, but if they do something though, but is it impactful? Does it make a difference?
No.
Are you talking about Torrey Craig's mysterious 2-week reevaluation right now?
Ouch. Yes, out of nowhere. I'm still trying to figure out how that happened when you don't play. I don't get it.
He did play that one night.
And dropped 18. It was an amazing night. We haven't seen him since. But yeah, he's out for the next couple weeks.
And let me be clear, because there are storylines that are positive in the season.
Yeah.
Right? As far as how Zach is playing and his health.
Okay, yes. Lonzo's comeback. Definitely a positive
comeback.
Yes.
The way Zach's level of play.
Ayo Dosunmu is a positive.
Ayo Dosunmu and his improvement.
Yes.
And, you were saying the other night that Vooch has kind of tapered off a little bit as far as his crazy efficiency, but even Vooch's season is a positive.
It's been a positive.
I mean, tonight he had 22 and 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 3-point shooting of them is a positive.
There's, the modest story. As much as, we find it frustrating that he's not.
Tonight. It was sweet.
He's not playing tonight. But so it depends on, rose-colored glasses, absolutely not. But at some point, isn't this the definition of insanity?
Yeah, Will. The point is been passed that it's the definition of insanity.
I know it, and it's not like I'm just figuring this out.
No, I know.
Some might
I'm
say
agreeing.
it's the definition of insanity. Some might say it's the definition of your Chicago Bulls.
Hey, set the court on fire.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
They're running the same thing.
Striving for mediocrity
again
while
and again.
telling their fans that they won't accept mediocrity.
So
This is what they do.
So right now that the GOAT is in the waiting room,
Okay.
he can hear us, right?
Yeah,
Katie
if he's
says
paying
yes.
attention.
Katie
Okay,
says yes.
so
I hate him.
Hi, GOAT.
That dude is the worst.
Talk to you in a second.
Oh!
I would really love to see, because the one thing I love about Will is that he just won't go all in Matt Peck on anything.
No.
So I want to see how he kind of breaks down tonight's game,
Mm-hmm.
how he explains it,
Mm-hmm.
so that when we say goodbye, you're like, well, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought.
What do you mean as bad as we thought? Like,
Because of what Will is going to say. You're going to say, hey, maybe the Bulls did something. Do you want to go to him now, or should we hit this break first? What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, because Will kind of reminds me of the guy that walking down the sidewalk and steps in a pile of dog shit and cusses a little bit, and he goes, well, probably better me than somebody else. Let me clean this up so nobody else steps in
What?
it.
Clean it up. No, that ain't good. that is definitely not the GOAT.
You want to just bring in the GOAT and ask him ourselves?
Let's do it.
All right, let's
do
bring
it.
in the
Well,
GOAT.
my point is, Peck steps in a pile of dog shit.
And everybody's going to know.
Everybody's going to know, and he's going to be dropping F-bombs.
Yeah.
He's going to be talking about his shoes.
Yeah.
We're going to come in here for the show, and he's going to have a toothbrush cleaning out the crevices in the bottom.
Oh, wait. Stop. See, I be with you, Will. And then it's like, wait, who is this other person you talking about? Man ain't doing that.
And it's going to piss him off the
have
rest.
I taken a toothbrush to a pair of Jordans before? Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like neurotically doing it all the time. Look at the scuffs on this pair I'm wearing right now.
And then say what? But you're not going to leave the shit inside the crevices.
Would you leave?
No,
shit
not
in the crevices of your shoes?
right back at the people who left
See
the
what I
shit
mean?
in my path. AKA the people who run the team that I love.
He brought that back around.
He's the
Just
guy
to do that.
He's the guy that runs out in his front yard with a gun. I saw you and your dog. I know it's you. The next time you're gonna meet my buddy.
Get you and your little dog.
too.
Okay. Katie is saying, you know what, we should just knock out the second ad break real quick, and then when we come back on the other side,
Yeah,
we'll
you
talk
guys
to
were
the coach.
goofing around too much. Now we got to make the GOAT wait. So here we
he
go.
understands who we are.
To get weird.
You want to get weird? Is that what you want to do? Bring it on.
Like you said, when they went to Vooch and Jalen for a minute, and he quoted Costanza. Weird? Okay. And I laughed, and then I tweeted a gif of that.
Didn't he respond? Bring it on, baby.
Bring it on, baby.
Okay, I'm hitting the break animation.
All right, break
We're
now.
gonna Postgame tonight brought to you by Mando deodorant.
Mando.
It is a new year.
It is.
Here in January 2025.
Welcome
that is a
to it.
nuts year for it to be.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're making resolutions. I'm going to leave that behind in last year. That's old me. I'm going to start this new thing this year. This is a new me.
Yes.
What I'm definitely making sure I bring with me into 2025 is my Mando whole body deodorant.
Nice.
Mando whole body deodorant is safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, balls, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, feet, you name it. Mando was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated.
I was like, what?
Choose from a variety of their fresh scents like bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. Clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor level was a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average grundle odor level, these are scientific figures and terms, Will Perdue, GOL for short, grundle odor level, is a 0 out of 10.
Hey.
If you use that Mando. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products is your choice, like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. I love their deodorant wipes, especially Big Dave. You know, I'm a camping man.
I do know
camping
this.
trips with my friends in the summertime.
Yes.
Bring my Mando deodorant wipes with me. It's like a shower on the go in the grundle.
That's it.
Incredible.
GOL.
As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Just use promo code CHGO at shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO.com.
Get crazy.
Thinking about the GOL.
Support our show and tell them that we sent you to Mando.com.
That's what we did, ladies and gentlemen.
Smell
Big
fresh
Dave,
and stay
before you
drier
do
and
your
boost your
read.
confidence from head to toe with Mando.
Ooh.
Before you do your read, let me say this. If there was ever a perfect product for Matt Peck to read, we just heard it.
Well, I'm about to read this one in, Will, because here comes another
compliment.
perfect product. Baby Joey hit me up, and he said Katie wants to get weird. He was like, she needs to hit him up.
Watch out for that.
He wants to get in there. Well, Baby Joey don't know how to do that because he's a baby. He never understood.
Never understood?
He didn't get it. Why? Why these glasses cost so much money? Nobody gets it. Nobody understands it. Shady Rays don't like it, so they set out to do something about it. Get ready for the season ahead with them quality shades that are built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have got you covered with those premium polarized shades that will not, I repeat, Will Perdue, they will not break the bank. It's an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product that's rated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
How many
Their
stars?
Shades, 5 stars. Their shades have durable frames. Their shades have crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for your outdoor, and as this handsome gentleman over here has proven, your indoor advenciones. But let's say he gets upset, he gets angry, and he tosses that hat. Oh no! But then he realizes those glasses are on that hat. Crack, splat, drat. He had lost his glasses, but he remembers Shady Rays. He can get those glasses right back. Send them in, pow! Back on his face. He'll have new glasses in the place. 30 days or a free return. There's no risk when you shop, and their team always has your back with that personal and fast support. So, exclusive for the listeners out there, Shady Rays is giving away their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO for 35% off those premium polarized shades. And try it for yourself. The shades that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people, because it's Shady Rays, y'all, where the Rays are oh so shady. Woo! Give it to you, Katie.
Let's talk to the GOAT now.
Hold on a second. Look,
Nope, we got to go to the GOAT.
You just got to read.
That's where he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
That's the comment you wanted me to read?
Yeah.
What we're doing is weird, Katie. You want weird?
Here we go.
Joining us on that Go Talk hotline.
Hey,
It's the one
it's
and only
the
Will
GOAT.
Gottlieb.
I want to
Follow him,
read
Will
that.
underscore
Read that.
Gottlieb. Read his stuff.
Listen.
CHGO.com.
We are not reading that comment out loud. I just want to be super clear. We will get demonetized, and we are not going to read that.
Golly, come on, man.
Will's like, you never let me have fun.
Just ask for forgiveness.
Hi,
later.
Will Gottlieb.
How are you, buddy? The Bulls fall to the Pelicans, once again proving they're capable of beating anybody and losing to anybody. What was your biggest takeaway from this one?
This is what I'm waiting for.
Hey guys. I mean, I think the fourth quarter was really interesting. Like that was actually a really fun game. And I think the fact that the Bulls were able to make it sort of a comeback. I mean, they were down 16 with like 4 minutes to go, and it was close throughout. And then the Pelicans kind of just took their big lead there. And I think those are kind of the moments throughout games where you try to figure out like what this team is doing that you can try to fix, because those are like the droughts that get this team in trouble, right? Like when they're not able to get into their offense quickly, the game really slows down, it bogs down on them. And Billy Donovan after the game was talking about how the Pelicans were switching everything that was kind of taking them away from getting into their early offense, whether that be, getting into quick threes in transition, getting to the rim, even just getting it to Vooch in the post. Like they weren't really able to do that because of the way that the Pelicans were switching and kind of forcing them into isolation shots. And Billy just said, like, that's not our team's strength. And so when we get forced into doing that, that's not the best versions of ourselves. And Zach kind of echoed the same sentiment after the game. He was like, look, I mean, we tried to beat the Pelicans at their game. We didn't play our game in the fourth quarter. And I thought that was really interesting because I think this whole season the Bulls have done a really good job of playing to who they are, which is fast, out in transition, getting downhill, spraying it out, and shooting a ton of threes. And while they did that, I think they kind of got back to it a little bit there towards the end of the game, but it just wasn't quite enough to where they could make a miracle happen, as Zach said. So, interesting game between two teams that I think are talented. Pelicans underachieving a little bit relative to their expectations, but one of those games I think you can learn from just in terms of how can you avoid getting bogged down in those fourth quarter minutes and how can you move forward, understanding what you need to do to avoid having those offensive dry spells.
Will, we saw Billy Donovan do what you absolutely love, and that's run two bigs out there on the floor with Jalen Smith.
You know me so well, Dave.
With Jalen Smith and Nikola Vucevic. Did he give any reason to that, talking to you guys in the press, about why he decided to run those two guys out together?
He kind of mentioned it. And I think basically at that point in the game, he was just looking for anything that could really work. And he felt like and this is not what Billy said. This is, our analysis, my analysis of it, which was that Patrick Williams was really struggling. He did not have a good game, as has been true for the last couple. And so his minutes got cut down quite a bit. And Billy said after, he wasn't really looking at it that way. That was more just the game kind of called for me to either go big or go small. And he tried the Jalen Smith lineup out there for a little bit when they had Zion and when they had Daniel Tice together, and then quickly went away from that. But he basically had Vooch on Zion there. And I think he felt more comfortable with that matchup just because of Vooch's size and ability to guard the post, which is what they were trying to do with Zion. They were trying to get him the ball on the block and then force the Bulls to send two to the ball where he could spray it out. And they found shooters, they found drivers that way, and that was really killing the Bulls. So I think he just wanted to throw some size at Zion, but it's just he's such a unique talent, such an interesting player that he's got the guard skills, but the big body and the size and the just strength of a big, but the shiftiness and the ball skills of a guard. And that's a really tough thing to cover for Vooch, for anybody. And so you got to try different things out. And, when some of your younger players aren't playing as well, then I think you just have to get a little bit creative there.
Will Perdue, 4-time champion.
So I've kind of tried to get past talking about Patrick Williams.
Okay.
But since you brought up about how Billy addressed the fact that he did not play well, 20 minutes when all the other starters were 30 plus. Was Mr. Peck, I'm just asking you for confirmation as I get into my question. Was there not another game recently where he was the least amount of minutes for a starter?
Yes. Correct.
I wanted to ask you, Goat, is Billy to the point now where he is trying to send messages to these guys by not playing them? And
I do not
let me
think
say
so.
Patrick Williams and Modest specifically.
Yeah, I really do not think so. He said as much, but I really believe him. I don't think he's just posturing. I think he's very much committed to trying to figure out within the game, what does the game need from him in terms of rotations, strategy, all that stuff. And so I think he's just trying to put the best five out there that he can in any given moment. And in the game where Patrick Williams isn't playing as well, then maybe he won't play as much. But Billy said this, I think he played 34 minutes last game, and I don't think that was some stellar performance either from him. And so I really do not think this is about performance so much as just who does Billy trust to get the job done at any given moment. And as Dave likes to say, Billy is not beholden to any lineup. He will try stuff. He will be flexible. And I think that's one of his best strengths as a coach. But also I think there's going to be times where, if you're not playing well, you can't keep going back to something that's not working. And so I think it was more of that perspective from Billy. With regards to Modest, he's been consistent playing a big stretch during the second quarter and maybe a little bit during the late third, early fourth for a while now. And I just don't think, as much as we all want to see more of Modest, they're a -6 when he's out there right now, just automatically, because he has good defensive stretches. He makes some good plays and the dunks are awesome, but he's just not in the place where he needs to be at the right time. And Billy, I think, has tried to play him more with some of the starters. He was out there, I believe, with Lonzo, Zach, and Vooch earlier today, alongside Taylor and Horton Tucker for a period of time. So I think Billy wants to put him in lineups where it's like, okay, this is serious basketball. You're playing alongside all-star caliber players, and we need you to be in the right places at the right time. And for all of the criticism of Patrick that has been going around, which I think some of it is fair, some of it may be a little bit too far, but like Patrick is at a point now, 5 years into his career, where he does know where to be. He does know how to defend in a scheme, and it may not always be productive in terms of the box score, but I think Billy trusts that he will execute the scheme more so than a Julian Phillips or a Modest or a Dalen Terry. And that's why, even though he's not playing well, he is getting more minutes. Now, as I said, today I think was a unique example of the Bulls just wanting to go a little bit bigger at certain times and then go smaller at other times, where they just wanted to get some more shooting on the floor. They wanted to get some more driving on the floor to try to open up the paint and create those spray outs. And Patrick just didn't fit into that because for whatever reason, Billy thought he wanted to go another direction. But I really do not think that this is anything about specific players, sending messages, punishing them, anything like that, so much as what can I do if I'm Billy to get the most out of my players so that we can try to win this game, because I think that's what's most important.
All right, so let me, with a follow-up, and I apologize. I'm sitting here looking at the roster. And as you said, if I'm now Billy, and I'm looking at this roster, and Patrick just consistently does not play well game in and game out, who actually could he put in the starting lineup besides him? And to where they would have any size whatsoever? Because, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking
that's a roster question, right? And as you're saying, like it's a tough thing to figure out which power forward to play when you don't really feel that strongly about any of your power forwards. And then you feel like you trust your guards a little bit more. And that's why I think we've seen more 4-guard lineups, right? And so I think the big question that we've all been asking for a couple of months here is, well, what's going to happen when everybody's healthy? And tomorrow is going to be the first example of that. Lonzo will not be playing just on the second night of a back-to-back. They're monitoring that and pretty much not going to be. There's maybe a little bit of optimism that could change later on in terms of playing more back-to-backs. But for right now, they're just playing it very cautious with him, not going to be, putting him in any positions to aggravate anything or get anything worse. But we will get Ayo back tomorrow. And so we will see him on the court. He's been out for a handful of games now. And Billy, I think, will be faced with this question of, you've got Ayo, you've got Patrick, you've got Giddey, you've got Zach and Kobe out there. How do you make those 5 guys into 4 spots throughout the course of a game? And I think that question gets even harder when you reintegrate Lonzo into that equation. And so maybe on Friday's game, we will have an answer to that. But I don't know. I think Billy has said before, like, they need to play to an extreme. And I think he really is leaning into that. And so it would not surprise me if we're seeing more of those 4-guard lineups. And look, I mean, Lonzo can do a little bit of everything. Ayo, I think, gives you a little bit more ball pressure. He can help there. But this team is defensively challenged. They do it as a unit. They do it as a group. And they're going to have to continue to do so, and then just lean on their speed and their rim pressure and their three-point shooting on the other end to really force teams to keep up with them. And I think that's kind of the strategy that they've been going with all year.
Go, you mentioned what Zach said in that fourth quarter. We let the Pelicans force us to play their game instead of playing our game. I'm curious what you thought about Zach's night, because as Dave likes to say often, Zach has been doing a good job of letting the game come to him this season and not necessarily forcing anything. He did have 5 turnovers on the night. He only had 2 points at half. And then you see that third quarter, he knocks down 2 quick threes. He's aggressive, looking for his spots, getting to those spots, getting to the rim. All of a sudden, he has a 13-point third quarter, and you're like, okay, are we about to see the continuation of Zach taking over in the fourth? It doesn't go that way. They went to Vooch early and often. Giddey was spraying it out to everybody in the first quarter. So what did you make of Zach's performance and then the team's performance around Zach in that fourth quarter? Because they had a lot of different guys going well throughout the first 3, and then it all falls apart.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the conversation about like the switching and just the Pelicans kind of taking them out of their offense and their offensive identity by forcing them into more isolation shots. And that's just not who the Bulls are. And they've got guys who can do it, obviously Zach and Kobe among them, but it just didn't really feel like there was at any point in that, early part of the fourth quarter when the Pelicans started to really pull ahead where the Bulls were doing their thing. And I think we've seen it now multiple times. Like the Bulls are at their best when they're running and when they're playing fast and they're playing their style, and Zach is taking shots within that. You're not seeing Zach like isolate too much this year, try to hijack the offense as he did when he was 22 when he first got here. He's a much more mature player. He understands how the Bulls need to play in order to succeed early on in the season. We asked him if he thought he was going to like ever need to score 40 or 50 because we know he could do that. And he was like, maybe, but like, that's not what I'm being asked to do. That's not what our offense is this year. And so all the credit to him for really buying into that. And I think it's helped his game too. But look, I mean, they play 82 games. Not everybody's going to have a great game every single night. And I think Zach is obviously talented enough to like hit a few shots when he needs to, but I think he was just struggling a little bit to try to not take over the offense in a way that was like too isolation heavy. And then I didn't realize this until after the game, but one of the referees went down with an injury, a hamstring injury. And so there were only 2 refs for the second half. And I think there were a few missed calls on him just in terms of like on drives where he didn't get the foul that he maybe would had there been an extra set of eyes on the game. And that can kind of take you out of rhythm too. When you're not getting your fouls, you're then not getting your free throws, you're not getting back on defense. This is our key that shows you that I've been talking for too long. But yes, I think just a tough game overall for the Bulls offense. And obviously Zach's a big piece of that.
Well, Will, I just have one more question for you before we get out of here. Can you let Will Perdue know if you step in a pile of dog poo, how you would react to that when you step in that?
I mean, I think I'd be pretty frustrated. I don't know.
I mean, see what I mean? He's even got to hesitate to answer the question.
I don't know that I would be carrying around a toothbrush just in case to, scrub it out of the crevices.
I didn't say you would be carrying it around.
I would be pretty frustrated. I would be pretty.
But that's my point. He's not even pissed. He's frustrated.
Yeah. He's in his other workplace right now where he has to be more of a professional.
Yeah, man. That's okay. All right. Will take it. He said he'll take it.
No, but he's staying within his box. He's got his
parameters. You gotta come to
parameters.
the studio for a couple of games, Will, to watch with me on away games.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
You need hanging out here for a road game.
You need to hang out with Goats here for a road game, buddy.
Speaking of which, Goat, 3 games down on this homestand, 2 to go. We miss you. Doing great work over there at the UC. Get home safe tonight. Bulls Nation, read his stuff, allchgo.com. Become a diehard so you can read the best of it and all of it. Follow him, Will_Gottlieb. Appreciate you, buddy.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Oh, my goodness.
Guys, please hit the like button.
Hit the like button.
Save yourself. I don't want to sit
I
Katie
keep
on
telling
any of
you.
y'all.
We've got over 100 people watching that haven't hit the like button yet.
Well, that's unacceptable.
Yes,
It
man.
is,
like,
yeah.
Katie will come for you. I'm trying to save y'all lives out here. Hit the like button. We appreciate it. We love you for it. Do it for yourselves. Save yourself. But do it for Katie because she's
A couple
awesome.
interesting comments here that just rolled in. Bob Bobson saying Zach has always let non-calls affect him too much. And
You know what?
our guy Niles Reed saying Zach definitely looks for fouls too often. On the heels of what Goat was just kind of saying there in his last thoughts on Zach's game, Zach was looking at the officials tonight.
He was.
I think more so than he has been this season.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I've appreciated and enjoyed about Zach this season is he's not doing as much of the foul baiting stuff.
Yeah, correct.
Because I wanted to believe that Zach figured out that when he tried to do that foul baiting stuff, it never worked.
Never
because the
worked.
officials in this league don't have that level of respect for him.
It never worked. And he was going back to the scream. You know, that hey! You know, like they don't fall for that. They don't go for that. He keeps going back to it and doing it. Old habits die hard. You know what I mean? So I just think that's what it is. And when you have a tough game like he was in the first half, like you saw him going to that, and then they're putting Zach in these bad positions. The team is, I'm saying, because nobody else on the floor can score in that fourth quarter and can carry that team in that fourth quarter. So they're putting Zach in these positions where he's got to be that guy to do it. Now, he can definitely be that guy to do it. We've seen it. But when these teams also know that Zach is going to be the guy to do it, they're going to attack him a little bit differently. They're going to be more physical. He's going to see those double teams. Those are going to come at him a little more. So his reaction to it has always been, flopping and doing all that stuff and throwing his arms up and then looking for the call. And that has absolutely taken him out of his game on several occasions throughout the years. It's been like that for Zach. We ain't seen it a lot this year. Like, we've only recently seen it in the past couple games.
Yeah.
Especially that Sacramento game. We saw it in there, too.
Yeah.
It happening. But I think a lot of it has to do with who else is there. You know what I'm saying? To help him, weather the tide and weather the storm and carry this team to that victory, man. It's something that's been put on his shoulders. He's been doing a good job with it. But I completely agree with you, man. Like, some point in time, like, he will start foul hunting, and he's not a good hunter when it comes to that, man. Just what it's been like.
Do you think that he's doing a better job at not letting the officials and their whistle or lack thereof dictate his mentality and his approach in the game as it's unfolding, Will?
Yes. But as I was listening to you, Goat talks about it. You just addressed it. I think at the end of the day, Zach's actually playing really good team basketball.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay? Agreed, yes.
Which I find interesting because then at the end of the day, you sit here and go, so what exactly has that got you?
Well, it's gotten the Bulls to 18 and 22.
Come on, baby.
It hasn't gotten Zach the new trade or the new team that he's probably still secretly looking for.
I want to make sure you understand. I credit him for doing that.
Sure.
As do I.
Yeah.
I think that was important.
Everyone should.
I did too.
I think it was important for him to show that he can do that.
Yes, very important.
Because every once in a while, Zach will throw out a little tidbit. Like,
okay.
A post-game interview by Casey Johnson when Vooch went. Did Vooch have a game where he went like 7 of 9 from 3 or something? Or he went through a stretch where he was shooting like 50-some-odd%.
Yeah, he definitely went through that.
And KC kind of jokingly asked Zach about, hey, right now, if with the way the Vooch shooting, if you guys got in a little 3-point contest, and Zach went, come on, KC.
Son.
Hey, I understand you're trying to be funny. Let's not go there.
Yeah, come on, son.
So every once in a while, Zach will passively aggressively let you know about what his skill set is vocally.
Yeah.
I think that he's actually done a much better job this year of just letting his game speak for itself. Okay? But I think we'll all sit here and say, okay, this is the best version of Zach. But here we are at 18 and 22.
Come on.
So now we're going full circle on this post-game show, and we're like, what are we doing and where are we going?
In a circle. As Will says, time is a flat circle.
Hamster on a wheel. Maybe the wheel is turned over like that, so time is a flat circle.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sometimes it tilts.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does that. But
tilt a wheel?
Yeah, sometimes. if we're lucky. But all the time.
Speaking of time is a flat circle, Fantasy Cast in the comments said, what if we found out that P. Will was just going through a really bad breakup this year?
He's been going through
I'm sorry, has he been going through a breakup for 4 years? Because that's the only way you can explain it that way.
Yeah, man. Seriously, bro.
I know that Goat pushed back on the idea that Billy's been sending a message with these Pat cut minutes recently.
Mm-hmm.
And, Goat talks to Billy. Goat gets a closer look at hearing what Billy has to say about this team. So I'm going to take Goat at his word when he says he doesn't think that that's Billy sending a message, but just Billy trying to win games. I'm sitting here saying, how can it not be perceived by Pat as a message? Your numbers are dwindling because you are a minus on the floor out there more often than not. And how do you not take that personally? Like, if Patrick, I honestly hope he doesn't, but if Patrick came home after a night like tonight and just scrolled through the comments of our show, and I know you guys did this in one of the games, but
we did.
Just rattled off some of them on one of the games that I missed last week. But
shout out, Katie.
I mean, and I know players do their best to block out the noise and stay off social media, yada, yada. But we got people in the comments saying, start Jalen Smith over him.
Yeah.
Heck, when I was back, start him over Pat.
Torrey Craig.
Torrey, if he comes back healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
Proved to you the other night that he can start and play 26 minutes.
Yeah.
Pat's starting and playing 20.
Yeah. Like, it's a given that he's going to be out there. But as Kimberly said right there, is Kimberly correct? No excuses. It's a no excuses tour for young Patrick Williams for me, man. So I don't want to hear it. I mean, he's been bad. Like, it's what it's been. Will, he's been bad.
It's your favorite saying.
Which is?
Triple single.
Triple single. It's one of them. It's one of them. They 8 points. The 1 rebound that he got in the fourth quarter.
Oh God,
I think so. I think it was the fourth quarter.
Was he late third or early fourth?
Yeah, it was one of those.
What?
But yeah, he struggled. He struggled, like I talked about, while Zach was going and doing everything, because he struggled. Kobe White struggled, 5 of 12, 1 of 7 from the 3-point line. If his neck was still bothering him, I don't like the fact that he was out there. I think he should been resting. I mean, because if it's anything the Bulls have, it's guards. And the last time they let Javon Carter actually get some playing time, he dropped 26 on you. So, yeah, he should be resting and resting up that neck. Josh Giddey, 7 points at the end of the first half, 7 points to end the game.
Well, I will say, just let me cut in real quick.
Sure.
Props to Josh Giddey. I've commended him for his rebounding before, and I will do it again tonight. 13 rebounds, and he was hustling tonight.
Yeah, man.
On both ends of the floor, Giddey was trying to grab offensive rebounds, keep plays alive. He was flying over the court. Did a couple of, make me roll my eye Giddey things. But
sure.
I thought that, all things considered, Giddey gave a great effort tonight.
This is another game. I think his third straight game that I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah.
And at all phases of what he does well, which is the rebounding, the assisting, and getting you close to 10 points.
Right.
He does pretty well in all that, but especially the rebounding. I love his effort on the rebounding side. You're absolutely right, man. Especially on the offensive rebounding, he got them a few extra possessions.
I think five of his 13. Yeah. Five offensive rebounds.
Just by the effort, he got you all these extra possessions to try to win this game for the Bulls. So I appreciate that about Josh Giddey and what he's doing. But also, just back to the struggles. I mean, look, Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, Taylor Horton-Tucker combined 0 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Those 2 rebounds and 1 assist came from one guy. And
that's 28 bench minutes.
You know what I'm saying?
Giving you 0 points.
Giving you nothing. Absolutely nothing off the bench. They struggled. Jalen Smith, shout out to him. He played pretty well, the 9 points, the 3 rebounds, but most of that was in the first half. As Will was talking about, to start this whole thing off, what is going on in that second half, for these Bulls? Because, Matt, I know last week, and even you mentioned it when you came back, because I talked about it also in the pregame, the Bulls were a second half team. Like, as far as scoring is concerned, they were first in third quarter scoring.
This season, yes.
Yes, and they were third in fourth quarter scoring.
Yep.
And they were doing their thing in that second half. We understood their first half struggles. They would always get off to these slow starts and then come back in that second half and just have it together. Now, it hasn't been like that for the past few games for them, and it's been really weird. Maybe Ayo has something to do with that because Ayo, again, will steal you 10 points because he's like, as soon as the ball goes in the net, inbound, to give it to me, I'm going. And he's going down the other side, and he's getting that layup, and he's stealing 10 points from you. That's not even giving you the 3-point shots he might hit or him getting to the line. So he could steal 10 points for you, 6 to 10 points. He could steal that. So maybe they're missing stuff like that. But I don't know what it is. But, yeah, as of late, Will, you're right. In that second half, especially in that fourth quarter when you got to have it, they haven't had it, man. And it's been Zach trying to do everything. And we know when Zach tries to do everything, it's not going to come off correctly.
I was just looking. We only had 4 guys go to the free throw line. Vooch went 1 for 2. Kobe 5 for 5. Zach 1 for 3. Giddey 2 for 2. Guys coming off the bench didn't even go to the free throw line one time.
Oh, man.
THT didn't even bowling ball his way into a trip to the free throw line.
Jalen Smith didn't get to. He always gets to the free throw line.
Well, how about this? 8 minutes and only 1 shot. I mean, I would think that's a minimum of 4 shots for him.
You talking THT?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually 1 minute, 8 shots. You got to flip those numbers.
Can I ask a question about this kind of like second half decline that we're seeing?
Sure can.
And I think
Katie Duffy.
Our viewers are very vocal about how they feel about Billy Donovan. You either love him or you hate him. There seems like there's no in between, but
I am exactly in between, but continue. I don't love him. I don't hate him. I think he's
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Anyway, with the second half decline, is that something that we can fault Billy for? And I want to direct this specifically at Will Perdue because you've been in those locker rooms.
Yep.
So is there something a coach needs to say at halftime to make you want to play again in the second half? Or is this just straight up players don't have the motor?
Eat lightning and crap thunder.
No, this is how I've looked at it. Okay. Okay, on a whole, I'm trying to figure out how to word this.
Oh, okay. All right.
On a whole, I like Billy as a coach.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. But the only thing that I would do differently is, and this is one thing I've tried to share with everybody, when it comes to professional athletes, okay, you really, in my opinion, from what I've experienced as a player in locker rooms, you really don't take notice or really feel like you need to make a change until you get called out in public or in the media. Okay? Meaning to the point where all of a sudden now you as a player thinks that everybody knows. In the sense that whether it's an article by Joe Cali or Casey Johnson or Will Gottlieb, Billy said, or a teammate said, where you're calling somebody out.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of times it doesn't have to be by name. You can pretty much put the pieces together, right? That to me is accountability.
Okay.
Now, a lot of guys in this league, they have pride and have their own accountability, right? They don't need to be called out. But Billy is a very player-friendly veteran player coach, okay? And I think that, I joke that this guy would be a great mayor for the city of Chicago because of how he handles the media, how he answers the questions.
That's a great point.
Right? He protects the players.
Yes.
I don't want to necessarily fault him for that, but I think as a former player that's been in numerous locker rooms with numerous organizations, that you notice as a teammate when somebody gets called out how they react. That's when you learn what this player really is. Does he actually react and bear down and become better at what he does and take accountability for his actions? Or does he point fingers and say it's not his fault? It's somebody else's fault. It's the coach's fault. It's other players' fault.
Jimmy
Butler. Learn who this player is. And that's the thing that, I'm not saying Billy's got to start throwing guys under the bus. There's ways to talk about players to send a message that things need to change. Whether it's effort, whether it's focus, whether it's selfishness, whatever it may be. And that's when you ask specific questions about Billy, that's where, I would like to see, something a little different. But it's not, because that's not who he is. And that's just, you have to accept that.
I hear that. And I've is well spoken from somebody with experience, not to disagree, but to just sort of add another layer to that of what's going on here from my perspective as a Bulls fan who watches every minute of every game. I think that a great coach can bring a team from being good or really good to great, championship contention great. Yeah. And we all, I think, would agree that there are only a handful of those coaches in the NBA. There's tiers of coaches and how much they impact their team winning. I also think that for the entirety of Billy Donovan's tenure here as the head coach of the Chicago Bulls, what they haven't had enough of is talent. Talent in the player variety. Last season, this season, okay, so DeMar's gone, but Zach's back. Zach missed most of last season. You got 2 sub-all-stars and some young complementary role players, none of whom are good enough and none of whom appear to be getting much better. If you want to fault Billy Donovan directly and put 100% of the blame on Billy for any of the Bulls' young guys not getting better because he doesn't like young players, he doesn't trust young players, I can hear you on that argument. But if you're talking about wins and losses and coaches getting fired based on wins and losses, and you're pinning the last 3+ years of mediocrity or not quite mediocrity squarely on Billy Donovan, when these have been the rosters that he's coaching, that is why I sit here sometimes and say, what the hell are you Billy Donovan haters looking at? How many All-NBA players we had the last 3 years? Oh, DeMar that one time? Yeah, that was fun. What do you expect this man to make wine out of shit water? I don't get it.
Well, let me ask, what did the letter T do to you tonight? You've been whooping T's ass, bro. Like, you've been giving it to him, dog. Giving it to him. Whatever you did, T, you need to apologize right now.
Enunciation is important.
This is true. This is very true. Yeah, like, you can't blame Billy. I've never blamed him outright for everything. Like, you're right. Like, the talent is important. You got to have it on your team. And when they had that talent, what did they look like? Well, the proof was in the pudding. They were first in the damn East at going into the All-Star break. They were a talented basketball team. But once they lost that talent, and that talent, those coffers were not replenished and refilled, and they was just giving them, bargain basement brand stuff instead of the actual name brand products of things. And he's like, oh, no, that's just as good. That's basically saying, no, put some water in it. It'll be fine. No, bro, I need real ingredients out here if I'm going to cook and going to do things. Nah, trust me, you'll be all right. And then you wonder why certain things happened the way they did. You can't blame Billy for all of the he tried everything. This is what I've always said. Like Will said that I say he's not beholden to any lineup because he's trying everything out there to win. We've seen him try all kinds of weird lineups because he's like, dude, something's got to work here. All right, so I'm not going to blame him off. Of course he gets some blame. No question. I've seen him lose games for this team. I've watched it happen. I've watched them make bad timeouts. I watched them make bad substitutions. I watched them take guys out too early. All of that stuff. That has happened for sure. But it is not all on Billy, man. It's just never has been all on him for me. Like, you've got to have better talent in here if you want to evaluate Billy correctly and just get on him. Now, I will say maybe you do need a new voice in the locker room. Maybe you do. Maybe guys are just tired and it's like, it's run its course. That doesn't mean you're a bad coach. It just means that time has run its course. And maybe that is part of it. Maybe that has happened. I don't know. I'm not in those locker rooms like that. But something is definitely afoot. Another T. Something is definitely afoot out here, man. And something has to change. I just think something has to change. Whether it's a trade or letting someone go, something has to change for the Chicago Bulls team, man.
And I don't disagree with that. I sat here on this set 2 years ago and said, yo, it's time to let Billy go. Like, none of this is working. This is all broken. Move on. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't change the fact that
that they don't have
somebody in the comments just said, it's not, Bob said, the old Elton Brand quote, it's not his fault, but it's not his fault.
Classics. Shout out.
Everyone has a hand in the blame for where the Bulls are right now.
Yeah.
Including Billy. But it's all Billy's fault, Bulls fans, who I cannot communicate with. It's like, what are you looking at?
Can't do it.
This team should be 3-time champions right now, defending. It's Billy. Like, what? Oh, Lord.
Not the case.
Do we need to talk about dog shit some more, or are we ready to go?
I think we're ready. We cleared up all the dog shit.
You know what that reminds me of?
Uh-oh. You got a dog shit story?
Yeah.
All right, hit me. Let's go.
Cheech and Chong.
Okay.
Don't you remember?
Katie doesn't know who that is.
What? You don't know who Cheech and Chong are?
Well, we do this once a week.
From
once
a decade
once a week, Will Perdue
70s.
looks at me and says, you don't know what that is? You've never seen that? And what is my answer every time, Will Perdue?
No.
Exactly.
So, Katie, to enlighten you.
Oh, God.
Back in the day, you used to be able to buy comedians on vinyl.
Yeah. Still can, I believe.
That's a record.
So Cheech and Chong used to do these skits, and they'd put it on vinyl, and you would play it and use your imagination. So they did this one skit of 2 Russian soldiers.
Okay.
Okay?
Where we going?
So these 2 Russian soldiers are, the thing starts and I forget whatever the skit's called. They have a title just like if you had songs.
Sure.
And he's just 2 Russian soldiers, or maybe they're Germans, and they're like, "Hey, what is that? Looks like dog shit." Sniff it. What? Sniff it. Oh, God, it's dog shit. And then he goes, "Feel it." What? Feel it. Feels like dog shit. Then he goes, "Taste it." What? Taste it. No, taste it. Oh, God. Tastes like dog shit. He goes, "All right, let's go. Good thing we don't step in it." That was a Cheech and Chong skit on one of the records. I kid you not.
I believe it.
And I think it was an Up in Smoke.
Up in Smoke. Classic.
Up in Smoke is a classic. Yeah. Will Perdue, man.
Yeah, man.
Listen.
Yeah.
That's why I love Purdue story time. You never
Feels
know
like
what
shit.
story's coming, baby.
Tastes like shit.
Oh.
It's probably shit. And with that,
I wonder if Hunter knew the story was coming. He was like, "Oh yeah, I heard that one before." He's like, "I know that.
that's a dad classic.
That's a dad
right
classic." Oh, the Up in Smoke one? Oh yeah, yeah. I know that.
I think, do we have a super chat that we need to say hello to real quick, Katie? Our friend Damai with a super chat who said, "Hopped on late, see the quaff right away. Bulls lost, but at least got the GOAT ASAP. This season will be no trades, play-in, and no draft pick. Yuck."
Enjoy your date.
Making it.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that
short and
Prison
sweet.
Mike?
Yeah, he's changed.
Yeah,
his
Prison
date
Mike has
now.
evolved to Date Mike.
Yeah.
How's his dates going in prison?
Pretty well, I would assume. You got to just, put yourself out there. Will. see what happens. The Squirrel Master came out of left field.
Well, I got a question. I got a question for him, but I think Katie will probably get mad at me. So
yes, I think she
sure.
will. It's time to go.
It's okay though. We'll get weird when we go out
yeah,
west.
we'll finally get weird.
So,
West.
so Katie, on one of these West Coast games after midnight, can we just say whatever we want? Is that the deal?
As long as you don't get us demonetized, yes. I'll make you a list.
Explain that to Will, though.
I'll make you a list of the words.
Explain
you can't
that
say.
to me. What does demonetize mean?
She'll send you a memo.
I'll make you a list of the things you can't say.
A do's and do nots list, just like all the ad copy that our sponsors send to us.
The 7 words you can't say.
No, there's more than that now
Shout out
because the
George
YouTube
Carlin.
algorithm.
Oh, no. It's a joke. It's a joke. He knew what I meant.
Okay.
He knew what I meant.
There's a comedian.
There's a comedian. He knew what I meant. Shout out George
so
Carlin.
just over my head again.
Vinyl.
It's all right. On vinyl. It's a
Vinyl.
comedian on vinyl.
Shout out George.
Shout
Carlin.
out George Carlin, baby.
Okay, we'll get out of here because we are right back at it tomorrow night. Second night of back-to-back. Bulls, Hawks. You know it's going to be crazy. 144 to 142. Let's go.
Yeah.
In regulation. Pre-game, 6:30 Central. We will be back here.
Okay, can I make one comment?
Okay.
We need to do a Bulls bingo board.
Okay. I'm with it. What you want to do?
Oh, I love this idea.
Because I want to put right in the middle circle tomorrow.
Katie
The
on
GOAT
Wilson?
will come on and be like, "It was a very entertaining game."
That's your GOAT? That's your GOAT right there? All right.
That will come out of the GOAT's mouth tomorrow.
All right.
And,
Okay.
and it very well could be because it's Bulls, Hawks. Those
They're
games are
usually
always
entertaining.
crazy.
Those games are entertaining.
Yeah.
They are, and hey, you're talking about an Atlanta team that beat Phoenix, which is a struggling Phoenix
That's
team.
true.
But
43
okay,
for Trae
so
Young.
Matt Peck,
Yeah.
prediction time.
Well,
Second game of back-to-back
Okay.
for both teams. Atlanta's got to travel in from Atlanta. Bulls get to sleep in their own beds. They're down. They're 4 down, so that means they're going to win, get it back to 3.
you just named, a lot of factors that don't matter. There's one factor that matters. Where are the Bulls in relation to 500?
4 under.
2 straight L's? That means they're 4 under.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow they win to go back to 3.
There it is.
Them's the rules.
The
I didn't
rules.
make them. I just know what they are. Four-time champ, Uncle Will underscore Perdue 32, Big Day Bow, BWL Sports, our
Can I
guy Will
ask you
Go,
one more
Will
question?
underscore Gottlieb. What?
I got one more. Why do I have the feeling?
I love Will Perdue so much. I love Will Perdue so much, man. Come on, Will. Give it to me.
Why do I have the feeling that Matt Peck is the guy that drives by, honks his horn with a smile on his face, and goes, "You're my number one fan"?
Yo.
I have never said that to anyone.
No. I didn't say. I said you make the gesture.
Will,
I don't-
you're giving the finger to someone.
Oh, like flipping someone the bird?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
With a smile on your
With a
face.
smile.
It's usually a growl. If I'm flipping somebody off from the driver's seat of my car, it's because that dumb person just did something dumb that inconvenienced my day very briefly and, and minimalistically.
So, in other words, he's thinking in his head, I don't make the rules, but it is Chicago.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Dude, I gotta tell you guys, you know what's way more effective than the middle finger when you're driving?
What's
is
that?
to give somebody the thumbs down. Because it's like,
She told me
it's
this
way
before.
less aggressive, but it makes them so
It's like,
angry.
hey, you're doing a really bad job. That's me and you right now. Maybe I'll try switching it up to that. It's a little less agree. No, there's just something great about flicking off a dumb person. There's no.
See what I mean? I knew where I was going with that one.
Yeah, I love
I do
flicking
none of
off
these
dumb
things.
people or telling them off on YouTube. Equally fun. We will see y'all tomorrow at 6:30. Shout out to our producer, the one and only queen of the controls, Katie Duffy.
Oh, man.
We are CHGO_Bulls. Talk to you for pregame tomorrow. See you, Red. Be good.
Love y'all, man. Thank you.
We all silly like the mayor.